Hi everybody and welcome to TWF NXT. Well, today on NXT we already got John Cena and Daniel Bryan in the ring. Now you might ask yourself, why are we in the ring here? And it's because me and Daniel Bryan were two of those men who were wrongly screwed out of the TWF World Heavyweight Championship. Now, John Cena says, who else was involved in that crazy match? Well, it wasn't me. It was me and Daniel Bryan, but not just me and Daniel Bryan. You know, not just me and Daniel Bryan, but we were also screwed. But apparently Randy Orton and unquote Dennis Rodman apparently are in cahoots with Diva Talks, and I do think that's kind of stupid. Don't you think? Sorry for that burp. So I know what some people are thinking. I know what you're thinking, Daniel Bryan says. You're thinking, geez, he must be stupid to actually think we're going to get our hands on Randy Orton or get our hands on Dennis Rodman again. We all know that Diva Talks will do everything in her power to protect Dennis Rodman, who, quote-unquote people, he hasn't really done anything useful in his life. He hasn't really done too much in his life to actually claim he's on the belt. And you all know Daniel Bryan says that Diva Talks will do everything in her power to make sure that we never get close to that belt again. I mean, she's actually held a lot of people back in her time as Chief Brand Officer. I mean, we can list people who came into the Toy Wrestling Federation who was trying to make it big, Daniel Bryan says, and then got pulled back on her. So, here's what we're going to do, John Cena says. Either we get to talk with Diva Talks, the Chief Brand Officer, or we bring her out, kick her ass anyway, because the way she acts like she deserves to get her butt kicked anyway. But no, hold on there, John Cena said. If we do that, Daniel Bryan, we might get in trouble, Even if we get the okay from Commissioner Godzilla and Director of Operations Thrak, and even if we get the okay from the General Manager Xena and Executive Administrator Gabrielle, you know how that's going to go, don't you? When we do that. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it, Daniel Bryan says. I mean, Diva Talks does deserve to get her ass kicked. I mean, she's been holding on to that position way too long, for way too short a time. So we know that even if we go to Executive Administrator Gabrielle, General Manager Xena, Director of Operations Thrak, and Commissioner Godzilla, she'll find some way to overrule them because she's the Chief Brand Officer. But what if we actually went over her head? What if we actually went to the couple other people who happen to be just as powerful, maybe even more powerful than she is, What if we actually went over her heads and then we talked with the Chief Executive Officer of the Toy Wrestling Federation, Aladdin, and the Chief Operating Officer, Princess Jasmine? I know you people think, oh, Aladdin and Princess Jasmine, they haven't really done too much stuff. Pretty much been off camera, haven't really played a role. I was like, oh geez. If we did decide to go to them, yeah, sure we had a great answer. But, you know, I'm sure they're very, very busy. So I really don't know if we'll actually get a chance to talk with them, John Cena says. But we hope we get a talk with them, Daniel Bryan says. That's the thing, John. They're the only people besides the chairman of the board of directors, Vince Kamicki, or the vice chairman of the TWF board of directors, Shane Kamicki. It's either that or we go to the principal owners, Corona and Ecliptor. You're right, John Cena says. Let's be positive about this. It don't matter. If we don't get there, we'll get Diva Talks out. I'll give her the attitude adjustment. And I'll give her the yes lock. Or the no lock, the Cabell lock. Wait a minute. Hear that song? It's the chief executive officer, Aladdin, and the chief operating officer, Princess Jasmine. They're in the ring. Can you believe that? We haven't seen them in some time. We saw them last night with the principal owners, Corona Clitdor, when Kang was fired as the director of operations and replaced it with Shrap. So let's go. Okay, Aladdin says. We happen to be here, John Cena and Daniel Bryan, and we happen to hear the grievances you have against the chief brand officer, Diva Talks. Now, let's go on record, Mr. Cena and Mr. Bryan. We are not that proud. We are not that very proud of Diva Talks either. So, what if we brought out Diva Talks here and we decided it was time to cut the fat? What if we decide to bring Diva Talks out here and tell her that her position as chief brand officer is no longer needed? Wait a minute, here comes Diva Talks now. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that the two of you are going to fire me? Yes. I know, Aladdin says, there have been a lot of complaints over you for a long time. A lot of complaints over how you've been handling things. You know. Oh, so John Cena and Daniel Bryan, they went boo-hoo-hoo about because they couldn't handle the fact that Dennis Rodman won the belt. It's how Dennis Rodman won the belt. It's how you've been neglecting wrestlers. It's how you've been abusing wrestlers. Diva Talks, to be brought with you, you're doing a horrible job as chief brand officer. And let's not get started, Aladdin said. And Princess Jasmine said, you're not doing a good job either. So Diva Talks, you have two choices. One, you can either apologize to John Cena and Daniel Bryan and guarantee them return matches with Dennis Rodman. Or you can get your ass kicked by them in a match. And if that doesn't sound good to you, then you can find yourself fired. Well, you're crazy, Diva Talk says. First off, what would I have to apologize for? What would I have to apologize for? You think I'm going to apologize to John Cena and Daniel Bryan? You see, I do what's best for business. Oh, you do what's best for business, John Cena says. Half of the people on this roster apparently or don't think you do what's best for business. Yeah, Daniel Bryan says. No, fuck you. You ain't getting no apology. And as far as you wrestling me concerned, it ain't happening. Well, Diva Talks, then your Diva Talks, your services are no longer required. You are fired, Aladdin said. And Princess Jasmine says, your service is no longer required. You're fired. Get out. Wait a minute. John Cena added to the adjustment on Diva Talks. Diva Talks has been fired as the chief brand officer here in the Toy Wrestling Federation. And Daniel Bryan went, yes, knocked down Algar. Can you believe this? Diva Talks is gone. We'll never have to see her again. Now, at this time, Aladdin says, we would like the number one, we would like the new TWF World Heavyweight Champion to come down here because we need to talk with him. Here comes Dennis Rodman now, the new TWF World Heavyweight Champion. Diva Talks is no longer the chief brand officer anymore. Now, Dennis Rodman, you're going to have a match. Now, there's two choices for you, Dennis Rodman. We reviewed the tape. You know, the championship committee and the executive committee reviewed the tape. Commissioner Godzilla and Director of Operations Shrak also looked at the tape. The general manager, Xena, and Executive Administrator Gabrielle looked at the tape. So, you were cheating when you had Kang interfere. Even though the referee declared you the winner and the new TWF World Heavyweight Champion, you are no longer the TWF World Heavyweight Champion. That belt, Dennis Rodman, is now vacant. Hey, Dennis Rodman says. And we decide that the number one contender for the new TWF World Heavyweight Champion should be Daniel Bryan. Yes! 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 And guess what? Guess what? Daniel Bryan's number one contender to the TWF World Heavyweight Championship will be John Cena. Wait a minute, Dennis Rodman says. You mean I'm out? Well, you're not out, Dennis Rodman. But if you want to actually work at winning the TWF World Heavyweight Championship, then you can either face whoever wins between the Daniel Bryan-John Cena match. Fair is fair. And Princess Jasmine says, Princess Jasmine says, that's fair. Now, just in case the Shield thought about coming out and doing a jump, come on out. We know you're out here. Now, just in case you three thought about coming out, okay, now just in case the three of you thought about coming out and jumping us, or jumping John Cena, or Daniel Bryan, let's remind everybody, we are the chief executive officer and the chief operating officer. And Princess Jasmine said, you guys have been running amok. Now, just recently, you guys allegedly stopped this whole justice stuff. But but not recently, you started up again. So, here's what's going to be, Shield. I know that Diva Talks put you together. I know you guys did a beatdown on Daniel Bryan once. And I know that Diva Talks wanted you guys to do a beatdown on John Cena and Daniel Bryan, but that's not happening. No, it's not. Well, you tell us what is or ain't gonna happen. Dean Ambrose says, yeah, Seth Rollins says, you don't tell the Shield what or what not to do. Yeah, Roman Reigns says, you see, Diva Talk, she was the bad influence. So now you both are going to change your tune, and you both are going to claim you have nothing to do with Diva Talks. Yeah, that's right, because Diva Talks banned us from wrestling. It's true. After we did that thing on Daniel Bryan, then she banned us from ever showing up. Then she broke up the Shield, and Seth Rollins had to go around for a while, trying to pass himself off as a single wrestler just so he could get in the door, because we were Shield. I find that story highly unlikely. But YouTube people, here's what, if you want to prove it, then you guys have a match. Now, a match against a former Chief Brand Officer, Diva Talks, Ed Algar. Wait a minute. We're actually going to have a match here. I'm surprised. The referee's in the ring. Diva Talks is in the ring. Hold on, Diva Talks says, I know I'm no longer the Chief Brand Officer anymore, but I can still help you guys. You don't want to do this. You don't want to beat me up. Sure I want to beat you up. Curve stomp on Diva Talks. Wait a minute, I'll do a Superman punch. Oh! Here we go. Dirty Deeds. Bam. Hey, what's our trademark here? Hey, be gentle on her. She's a rare action figure. Uh-oh. And a triple powerbomb. Oh! And Algar getting out of here. He doesn't want nothing to do with getting beat up. One, two, three. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner. Here are your winners. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, The Shield. And The Shield finally came back. I guess The Shield must have been telling the truth because they had no problem laying out Diva Talks, who basically lost, I think, would be her last match here, as far as the Toy Wrestling Federation is concerned. I don't know if we'll ever see Diva Talks back. She's gone. Well, that's all the time, folks, we got here. We hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you tomorrow for Superstars.